Hey y'all. It ain't what you think. I just ate some ice cream and my nose is cold. I'm gonna do all that and record it because that's how we get down. Welcome to Wrestling Color Podcast. It's your girl Stephanie. Make sure you thumbs up the video, turn on notification if you want, subscribe. I'm on my road to 300. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I had to crack my back. And make sure during this COVID-19 coronavirus 2020, you are safe and you're not out here being stupid. Cases are popping up. The more people are tested, the more people are turning up with the virus. I gave a little biology lesson in the previous podcast if you don't understand how viruses work and things of that nature. Please don't think this is just a flu. I work in a hospital. It ain't nothing to play with, baby. It ain't nothing to play with. Would you rather err on the safe side or end up in the iron lung? Shit. Apparently, Idris Elba got the COVID. So there you go. If you care about the famous people, take care of yourself. So I'm out here trying to figure out why the Revival ain't getting paid no more. And I'm also out here trying to figure out how come no one seems to care about WWE's terrible work practices and the way they treat their employees who they deem expendable. Not the ones that have legacy and, all that bullshit, but the expendables. I also was listening to the New Day Feel the Power podcast, and I came across something. Well, I guess I didn't invent it. They had pointed out that they, if you watched the Usos when they first came out, they had the face paint and they used to do the haka, I think it's called, and and they were real excited and colorful, and they had long hair and it was chunky. They were Samoans, right? Then they did a heel turn, and so they proceeded to wear black, which is basically bad guys wear black. So they started wearing black, and on the podcast, this comment and statement of, I want to say, one of the Usos explaining to the New Day how they were told not to look like their cousin.
They didn't just say, do this overnight, right? Wasn't there some resistance to losing the face paint?
Yeah, we obviously for the heel change, we needed to change everything. Yeah. But they were saying, when they first seen us working all black, it was like, y'all look too much like Roman. Don't look like Roman. I'm like, man, what the hell else are we supposed to look like?
Yeah, man, you know where we come from, bro.
We in the same gene pool. So, we fought to get that off. We were supposed to keep it. So in my mind, I was like, man, what? It's not gonna work. Yeah, we told them completely go. Like,
there's no way we can change if we still have the old. If we still have a paint, there's no way we can get away from that. Like, we completely, because we was colorful, rebirth, right? We was all that trying to do that, and then trying to get completely away from that. And they can't tell who y'all are without the face paint. You know how that is. Yeah. And when you show it off, and then you look too much like Roman, and you're like, man, that was rough.
We stuck with it though.
Can't fight him.
Do
you think it's harder for y'all?
I thought that was really interesting. I wanted to touch on that before I dive into the topic of discussion for this podcast. This is why it's always important to have representation in the room. I feel like WWE's writing room is full of old white men and probably sprinkled in some white women. I don't think there's any black people back there, Samoans, Hispanics, or anything African, anything of that manner in the writer's room. And when you make a comment to these guys not to look like Roman, who's literally their cousin, they all gonna look alike. And honestly, every Samoan that comes through WWE, yes, they look alike. They have a look. And I think Roman is lucky in the fact that he's mixed, so his genes didn't give him that mushy kind of exterior, kind of like the Usos are predisposed to the chunk, like their dad and Umaga and all the people before them. The Rock also being mixed was able to build a body he has because, and I'm going to say it, because of that African gene, okay? If The Rock was 100% Samoan, he would be chunky as well. It's very hard for them to lose weight. Samoans are naturally short, chunky people. So with that being said, I thought it was really interesting for them to ask these men not to look like someone that is literally a part of their gene pool. That's once again showing you why representation is important. So I'm on the internet and I see the revival. You know, they've been going through it with the WWE on a public stage, and it's been hard to watch, and it's just like, you know, wow. So the WWE has went ahead and removed the revival off of television, according to Wrestling Observer newsletter. Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder of the revival are expected to leave the WWE soon. I believe their contract is up sometime in April. While Wrestling News Co. notes that they are expected to end in AEW down the road, the contracts are originally set to expire in April, but Wilder's contract has been extended till June due to injury. You know how they do. Meaning that the talented team cannot join together into the promotion. So one could go over there and kind of chill and wait for the other one if that's what they want to do. The revival likely leaving WWE in the near future. The former Raw Tag Team champions have been removed from the road just 2 months after one of the world's best pure tag teams turned down a lucrative contract offer to re-sign with WWE. Fightful News said Sean Ross says that multiple sources have told the site that the revival pay has been disrupted because they have exceeded their downside guarantees. So what are downside guarantees, you say? Well, a downside guarantee is every main roster talent has what is called a downside guarantee. It is the minimum amount they make and it's guaranteed. Then they are paid bonuses for every house show, match, TV appearance, network special, etc. They also get percentages of merchandise sales. So since it's basically a base pay. So if their downside is $25,000 a year, or $500 a week, then that is what they're being paid. Now, when you're on TV, merchandise, and you cooking, you can become a millionaire, a la Roman Reigns, who is always on TV, always in front of the camera. This is why it's imperative that these guys and gals get on television, because their downside is basic wage for Americans, and then you build from there. According to Bodyslam.net, Dawson and Wilder, who recently had their request denied to release, are just ready to go after rejecting a massive financial offer that would have paid each of them more than $700,000 annually. The revival has reportedly now rejected multiple offers from WWE after first asking to leave the company in early 2019. And remember, I had to rip into Booker T, because he talked about take the money. If it was me, I did the money, and you would see me on TV and but yeah, Mr. Go Along to get along. Although the revival has won both the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships, they have spent much of the past 2 years without much direction. It was shortly after their initial release in early 2019 that WWE seemingly made overt attempts to humiliate the duo, a trend that continued into late last year when the decision was reportedly made to purposefully turn them into a comedic act. That was essentially viewed as the last straw in their relationship with the WWE. Given that Dawson and Wilder are known for being serious wrestlers who do tag team wrestling better than just anybody or any duo in recent memory. And the revival hasn't been shy about expressing a dissatisfaction with the position at WWE. Dawson recently hinted he was told by those within the WWE tag wrestling team doesn't draw, which is something that the WWE Hall of Famer Edge and Young Bucks have also suggested. Certainly, the up and down booking of WWE tag team division will lead you to believe that it isn't much of a priority, which explains why two prolific tag team performers, Matt and Lou Harper, are expected to land in AEW next year or in the future. Hardy, who recently let his contract expire, flat out said that he is negotiating with AEW and the long-running expectation that he will be ultimately revealed as the leader of the Dark Order, the Exalted One. Hardy could very well debut for AEW as soon as later this month, as in the case of Harper, who was released by WWE and is reportedly set to debut later this month as well over at AEW. Based on partially on all teasers Dawson and Wilder have made over the years regarding the jump to AEW, the widespread belief is that they will soon head to WWE's new number one competitor, add yet another incredible duel to what is already arguably the best tag team division in pro wrestling. They also got some trademarks and things of that nature, and they would just probably have to choose a new name because they can't be the Revival. You know, Matt Hardy was talking to somebody too, and he let him know that he was, while Jeff was out with his issues, he was trying to pitch ideas and he was trying to elevate talent, and he wanted his woke gimmick, which, by the way, I don't really care about that woken shit. I don't get it. Watching him talk and all that is great, but it does nothing for me. But, that doesn't mean to suppress the man's creativity. These wrestlers want to be creative. These wrestlers are close to their 40s, and some of them are entering their 30s or in their mid-30s, and they want to wrestle and have a good time. I also don't see anything wrong with someone leaving one job and going to another. When you see a WWE wrestler show up on fucking AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Reality of Wrestling, you name it, they do it. I don't see a problem with it. When you quit your job and go to another job, does somebody say, oh, you must have really was sucking over at your other job, that's why you over here? No, they do not. I am happy for Dash Wilder and Dash Dawson, and I probably said their names wrong. I'm happy for the Revival that they want to hone their craft, enjoy their work, and feed their families at the same time. And there is no reason why we as workers, as human beings, cannot enjoy going to work, enjoy doing something, getting fulfillment from doing something, and maybe making a little cash at the same time. Why can't people do that? Why is that against the law? And it's really not. I also wanted to sit down and look at WWE because for whatever reason, it's acceptable that the WWE will bury talent, will antagonize talent, will fucking add time to talent, won't release nobody, they do them any kind of way. It's been pointed out over on a talk show about the things that the WWE is allowed to do. So I got this article I'm going to read real quick, and it is conducive to the work relation, the work environment that is very hostile over the WWE, and I'm surprised no one has sued them outside of, fucking CM Punk. I know more people have sued WWE, and I don't know why any of these wrestlers won't sue WWE out of their contract, especially if it's a long one and you made a mistake. That's why it's important to read contracts, folks. From the WWE to the White House, the anti-worker history of Trump's Small Business Association pick, which was Linda McMahon, remember? There to be the Small Business Association president over in Trump's cabinet, and I didn't hear anything about what she has done, what she has accomplished. I think it's a move. He is very good friends with the McMahons, and we know they're Republicans, and their works and practices have shown they have absolutely no ethics. So, he appointed her, and she was head of a department responsible for training and educating small businesses and entrepreneurs. Okay, her nomination, well, she ultimately got the job, raised questions about whether she will encourage or impart some of these dubious practices to employees at the expense of workers. rock bottom labor standards. Wrestlers contracted to McMahon's WWE have a habit of dying young. To some extent, this is a product of their chosen profession. Professional wrestling is an incredible, hazardous spectacle that requires both the willingness and athletic precision to carry out perilous stunts, as well as physical strength and withstand enormous stress and pressure on the body. The WWE's particular policies do not help matters. The company makes its athletes abide by a grueling schedule that sees them wrestle as much as 4 to 5 nights a week, traveling from city to city with no off season, and they're paying for this themselves. There is no schedule like the WWE, says Sami Zayn. Year round, forever, no light at the end of the tunnel. Sami Zayn had both his shoulders worked on. Okay? The top brass at the WWE have been accused previously of pressuring wrestlers to ignore injuries. In a telltale interview, former WWE superstar CM Punk recounted how he was repeatedly pressured to wrestle through multiple injuries, including what later turned out to be an undiagnosed staph infection. Okay? In 2015, 2 former wrestlers sued the company, claiming it had encouraged dangerous stunts like steel chair shots to the head, leaving wrestlers with concussions and long-term neurological damage while discouraging them from getting medical help for injuries. This year, a group of some 60 former wrestlers, including many of the company's bigger names from the 80s, sued the WWE for similar reasons, alleging a link between their wrestling injuries and degenerative brain disease, which is CTE. And WWE's response, excuse me, they called it a ridiculous attempt by the same attorney who previously filed the action suit against WWE, both of which was dismissed. The company only outright banned chair shots in 2010. When the problem reared its head midway through her first campaign, people were like, what the fuck? Konstantin Kroos, an attorney representing a group of wrestlers, told the Times that the WWE has led a systematic effort to deprive the wrestlers of their rights through an improper workplace structure and unregulated work conditions. There's a clear nexus between McMahon's proposal cabinet role and the role she has as CEO of WWE. I don't think what WWE does in terms of burying, punishing, humiliating wrestlers is acceptable. The physical pressures McMahon's former company places on wrestlers are coupled with drug-related hazards. There's no doubt that some WWE wrestlers develop drug addictions due to the hard partying rock star lifestyle that accompanies the job. McMahon herself claimed that the high death rate among wrestlers could simply be chalked up to their personal habits. Or they could be in pain and got addicted to painkillers and then moved on up to the drug of choice that was going to suppress that pain. WWF employed Dr. Zoring, who in 1991 was convicted of drug trafficking. His lawyer at the time defended him, explaining that steroids were used throughout the WWE and wrestlers used them or they didn't participate. Linda McMahon told Waxman as a CEO her responsibilities included working day to day with her husband, the driving force behind WWE. Most damningly, a 1989 memo written by McMahon that surfaced years later featured her asking another executive to tell Zorian to stop coming to the company's events and to clue him in on any action that the Justice Department is thinking of taking after being tipped off that an investigation to Zorian was being launched. Soon after that memo was sent, an executive did just that. Zorian shipped his files on wrestlers to his attorney. Through the WWE lawyer, said they were not destroyed. Nearly 2 decades later, McMahon told Waxman that Zorian had distributed steroids unbeknownst to us. So they have no ethics. Okay? One study found that wrestlers aged between 45 and 54 had a mortality rate 2.9 times greater than that of the general American male population. Another study found that more than 46% of deceased male wrestlers who worked for the WWE between 1977 and 2012 died because of heart complications versus some 26% of men who died of heart disease between 2000 and 2008 in the general male population. Okay? Yes, they have a wellness program, but it's bunk if you ask me. Union busting and death clause. The health problems faced by wrestlers at McMahon's former company are compounded by what have been alleged to be exploitative behavior conditions. Despite mandating a non-stop schedule for their wrestlers that give the company a large amount of say over virtually every aspect of the talent's daily lives, the WWE insists that the performers are not employees but independent contractors. That means that the company, which recorded a total revenue of $659 million in 2015, and whose chairman is a billionaire, can save money on paying out contributions to Social Security, Medicaid, and unemployment insurance. There you go. Think about that. Think about it. More seriously, for workers whose paycheck is based on physical fitness and extreme danger, the WWE does not cover its wrestlers' health insurance. As of 2016, the company forced its wrestlers to buy health insurance, setting them up to pay sky-high premium given their riskiness of the job. McMahon Company has also been known to slip in death clauses into contracts, releasing the WWE from liability for the wrestler's death in the ring due to injuries on the job. Okay? Some of these issues could have been avoided with the help of a union, but the hands of the McMahons and WWE have virtually anti-union, quashing an earlier organized effort by wrestler and former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura in the 80s. Okay? I don't know. Well, I do know. Because they're rich and they can. Their practices are disgusting. They tried to bury John Moxley. They're burying fucking Cedric Alexander. They buried the Revival. They abuse their workers. They humiliate them live on TV. They take them off TV. These people don't get paid. These people are considered independent contractors when they need to be classified as employees so they can get more benefits and take care of their health and their families. And they shouldn't have to feel like they have to go overseas and all these other places in order to just feed their family. I think it's disgusting and egregious what the Revival is going through, and I hope when they get to the AEW, they do what they need to do and show us, just like John Moxley showed the WWE, that they aren't the only promotion in town. They really aren't. And I love it when someone signs to a company outside of WWE, because that shows them, yeah, y'all might be generating millions of dollars, but this ain't the place for me. The grass ain't greener always on the other side. And for what it sounds like, WWE's grass needs to be plugged up, mowed, taken out, and relayed or something. This is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. You won't let Bobby Lashley fucking, build himself up to fight Brock Lesnar. You won't give the people what they want. It's disgusting. You won't cancel WWE. You're willing, WWE's WrestleMania 36. You're willing to put your workers, your employee, everyone that has something to do with putting up the stage to mopping the fucking floor. You will put them in danger just so you can get some goddamn money. And I have a problem with that as a consumer. Not to mention, you refuse to hire people who represent what United States is. It's just not white folks. Just like Drew McIntyre and them, they're white, but they have, their Irish culture, Scottish culture, England, Australian, all of these countries are represented, but it still feels like stone cold white bread in the goddamn ring all the time. WWE is going to have to change with the times. Like everybody said, you cannot continue. You cannot continue to abuse your workers. You cannot do it. You can't. have some ethics. I want the Revival to get out there and do their thing. I remember Titus touched Vince McMahon, and he put that man literally in the goddamn garbage can. Titus ain't never come back from touching Vince McMahon. Ain't never come back. That's why it's so easy to call racism, and it's easy to call discrimination, and it's easy to call nepotism and these things of that nature. Because there's families that work for Vince McMahon, and they don't never have to worry about not feeding their family. If you are part of the NOY clan and the Johnson clan and all these different things. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope the Revival get what they need and get going. Matt Hardy, what's his name? One half of the Bludgeon Brothers, because oh boy, fucking Rowan is catching hell over there with that spider, and Luke Harper is about to come out as Brody something and do his thing, and it's gonna be exciting to watch. There is life after the WWE, y'all. Look at Jake the Snake cut a promo. Look at Arn Anderson over there. I saw Bobo. Who that black dude? It ain't Bobo. I forgot his damn name. Black dude over there trying his best to introduce people. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to British Bulldog, who will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Justin Thunder Liger. Y'all mad because the man wrestled on NXT, but apparently he's a fucking legend. You know, I did my Googles, and the guy's cool, and I like his outfit. Also, real quick, I am a fan, and I have climbed aboard the Jurassic Express. Just to let you guys know that I have climbed aboard the Jurassic Express. Raw's coming on tonight. It ain't gonna have no audience, and they think somebody finna sit there for 3 fucking hours watching that bizarre shit. I might watch it just so I can laugh. Y'all make sure y'all watch it because it's gonna be just as ridiculous as SmackDown. Stone Cold gonna be there. Stone Cold, talking to the camera, please. There's no audience, and that's the bottom line. Cause Wrestling in Color said so. Hope you enjoyed this. Please hit power roll to 300 if you made it this far. And what do you think of the Revival? And what do you think of WWE's work practices? And why is it allowed? And why has no one brought these motherfuckers to the table? Is my question. Alright, y'all be safe out there. Don't go out there licking people in the ass and stuff. Corona is real. I will be here uploading for the rest of the week. It's going to be a blitz. It's going to be a Corona blitz of podcasts. And I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about, and I want to do more spotlights. So yeah, this is Wrestling in Color. I will see you guys here on the next episode.